Welcome in, my possum friends. We are Offensive Points, brought to you by the Fantasy Six Pack channel. Today we have some Week 14 game previews for you. We're going to talk about the sleepers and the ways to get into the playoffs and dominate your league. Let's get it. All right, Billy, it's you and I this week. We got Week 14. We have bye weeks: Panthers, Patriots, Giants, 49ers. So everyone make sure they're out of your lineup. And we got a banger on Thursday night. You want to talk about that one?
Yeah. Last week of the regular season for most fantasy teams. So let's get right into those previews with the Week 14 Thursday night football game, and that is the Dallas Cowboys at the Detroit Lions, Joe. This game, just first off, is kind of an interesting one. Amon-Ra, if he'd have played, he's been limited. Is there anybody that you're looking at to replace him potentially? I mean, Jameson Williams obviously is probably going to get an uptick, but anybody else you're looking for out there that might be somebody else that maybe needs to be picked up?
With the Lions, I mean, first of all, this is like a playoff game for both of these teams because they are trying to keep their playoff dreams alive. So I expect this to just be an absolute shootout. Over-under is 54.5. So, and both these teams are horrible against wide receivers. I think they're the two worst teams against wide receivers in the league, giving up the most touchdowns for sure. So this sucks to not have Amon-Ra. But yeah, we would expect Jameson Williams to be an absolute stud this week. Between Tesla and Tom Kennedy, I'm not too excited about either of them. I like Tesla for the touchdown upside, but Tom Kennedy actually played more snaps last week. Do with that what you will. I think it's going to be Jameson Williams, and I think it's going to be the two running backs. I think Gibbs is absolutely going to get it through the air, get it on the ground, and then I think we're going to see a lot of Monty this week too.
Yeah, I do like Tom Kennedy as a potential sleeper to put in there just because the tight end position is such a hellscape. So that actually would give you somebody that you could put out there. And then Tesla, literally you're chasing a touchdown. Let's not kid ourselves. What we're doing there is just chasing a potential touchdown, which is what happened last week, which nobody played him on Thanksgiving. If you did, you are lucky, or you're in the Scott Fish Bowl, one of those two things. Amon-Ra hasn't been technically ruled out, so I don't want to say that it's completely impossible that he can't play, but it does feel like they're trending towards him at least being limited in the game, and that's just really tough, especially when Amon-Ra's probably gotten you this far on your team. So to not potentially have him for this run, this last game of the regular season, it's kind of tough to have for your fantasy football team.
Yeah, I mean, they had a full week to recover from this, so that's kind of cool. I don't like how little we have heard about Amon-Ra from this team because there's been literally no news. So could be good, could be bad. We will see tomorrow what happens. Hopefully he's in.
Literally, we're recording this on a Wednesday. It's wild that we still don't know what his actual designation is, but a little gamesmanship potentially. Flipping to the Cowboys side of things, look, you're playing your guys. Let's not get cute. Malik Davis had the one fun major run in that game, and I know people picked him up on the waiver wire, but there's just no way you're throwing him out there with any kind of conviction. That one touchdown was a 43-yard run that accounted for 43 of his 47 total yards, so there really is no reason to think that that's something they're going to be able to duplicate. That was kind of just like a freak accident, if anything. But I think you're just sticking with your guys: Lamb, Pickens, Ferguson, Javonte, Dak. I mean, let's not get cute. It's Week 14.
Yeah. They're all pretty good matchups. So fire everybody up in this game that you possibly can.
Yeah, I hope it's a banger. I'm personally shocked that the Cowboys have turned it around, Joe. Like I don't get it. I watch them and still just don't understand what I'm watching. Like they just look really good comparatively. I don't know. Addition by subtraction with Micah.
Tried telling you,
Joe, but the defense still doesn't look that good. But whatever, they're better than I thought they would be. That's just all it is. Even with CeeDee Lamb apparently like looking frustrated out there at times, like it's working out. I think the Cowboys win this game, but I'm really hoping it's a shootout.
Yeah, Cowboys are rolling right now. I can't bet against them.
For sure. All right, let's head to the Sunday slate. We have the Seattle Seahawks versus the Atlanta Falcons in Georgia. On the Seahawks side of things, listen, the JSN thing was frustrating last week. I don't think there's much we need to take from that other than it was just a bad Darnold week. And I think those are just going to happen from time to time. Like, it hasn't happened so far this whole season, so it was kind of shocking that it happened. But they also were just blowing the doors off of Max Brosmer and the boys, so it wasn't really like they needed him to do anything more than what they did. Running backs, Joe, what are you thinking as far as these guys? Like, is there one that you're trusting more than the other? Is it just going to be this 50-50 coin flip each week between Walker and Charbonnet? What are you thinking there?
Well, first of all, fuck the running backs and fuck how they're using them. Clint Kubiak can go to hell for how he's using these running backs. Kenneth Walker is clearly the more explosive running back. And I like Charbonnet, man. He's good. But, I mean, he has taken over the goal line role. He has taken over the inside the 20 role. So any upside that you have with Kenneth Walker is going to be based on a long touchdown and receptions. We're not seeing it near the goal line. So I'd be more comfortable starting Kenneth Walker. The Falcons absolutely can be beat. But Charbonnet, I mean, if you're in a pinch, you can throw him in there, but you're relying on a touchdown. I mean, it's the same thing we said about Tesla. I know that Charbonnet is better, way better than Isaiah Tesla. But, yeah, I like Walker better.
That's fair. That's kind of what I agree with, too. It is tough to have those goal line like, you're getting the goal line work sniped by a Charbonnet, but it is what it is. Another week, another dud from Rashid Shaheed, Joe. I don't know when it's going to happen for you, man. It's
this is the week, Billy. I'm quadrupling down on it.
I feel like the Falcons, at least he knows that team. He's played them twice a year for a couple of years now, so at least he's got a little familiarity there. But it just hasn't really worked out, I think, the way anybody has thought. But then again, like I said, last week was just a weird game for the Seahawks passing. Like, the Vikings clearly had Darnold's number. They clearly knew him. I think we probably should have put a little bit more into that, even though, like, that is kind of an insane thing to assume. But it was just a weird week. I expect all the guys I expect JSN to bounce back. I expect Rashid Shaheed to eventually get more involved in this offense. And then I still wouldn't start Cooper Kupp. And then AJ Barner, if you're in a pinch with the tight ends, because, again, there's 4 teams on bye this week, so you might need them, maybe a Hunter Henry replacement. AJ Barner, I wouldn't think he's going to – the upside, the ceiling's not high, but the floor is kind of 7 points.
Yeah. Barner can absolutely be started. Now, Falcons are pretty good against tight ends, so watch out. But AJ Barner, solid fill-in. Everyone was freaking out about JSN. I mean, and it had the fact that they didn't even have to play offense at all. So they did, but they didn't have to.
Yeah. I think our guy, Max Brosmer, is probably not going to get another look in the league. That was pretty rough. It's hard to look like a deer in the headlights, Joe, but man, he definitely personified that. And I think we could have done about as well as he did out there. The fact that we'll get to the Vikings in a second.
Dude,
so
the 20-yard almost sack to interception touchdown to Ernest Jones was fantastic work.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I don't know if you heard it, Joe. I don't know if you heard that way off in the distance when that game was over, but the Justin Jefferson wanting out of this team rumblings have started. Yeah. This is where it started. We'll get to the Vikings in a second, though. I think Seattle handily wins this game. I don't trust Kirk Cousins.
No.
I mean, we could talk about the Falcons if you want to. I don't like this at all.
I mean,
I don't like them with Kirk Cousins. They looked fine last week, but not good enough.
On the Falcons notes, he loves Kyle Pitts. I mean, he's your wide receiver 1 on this team, if you can call him that. But he's going to be targeted. they have no playoff aspirations at this point. They have been eliminated officially. So I'm a little worried about Drake London. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get a note this week that they're putting him on IR and shutting him down. I hope that doesn't happen, but be sure to keep an eye on it. Don't be surprised if it does. And then trade for Tyler Algier in your dynasty leagues. He is a free agent next year. All the man does is score touchdowns, and I think he's going to get a shot next year to be a starter.
That's fair. Also, I think Darnell Mooney's going to get a big game here eventually. I think he had one. I mean, he had one last week, but the week before this week. But this week, kind of a dud. Yeah, I just don't like the Falcons. They lost to the Jets, Joe. I mean, come on. What are we doing?
Yeah, the Raheem Morris thing has got to change. I don't think he's the coach.
I agree wholeheartedly. Seahawks win.
Seahawks win.
All right. Moving on to division matchup between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. Right before we went live, it was said that Mark Andrews got a 3-year extension, which effectively ends the Isaiah Likely time in Baltimore because it appears that they're going to let him walk in free agency. Before we get to the actual previews at all, what do you think of that strategy of signing Mark for a couple more years and then just letting Likely walk?
Yeah. I mean, he'll be 32 by the time the contract's up, so it's not horrible. It's not a bad time to sign him. He has 300 yards, 37 catches, 5 touchdowns this year, so he's not doing Mark Andrews things, but with the state of the tight end position, you're not going to get a replacement if he does happen to move. I mean, Likely is by far the more explosive guy, and I don't understand why they don't use both of them more. But hey, Lamar doesn't seem to be interested in throwing the football, so do with that what you will. But, I mean, he's like top 6 in average per year on salary, which I think is fair for what he's done in his career. So I don't hate it.
My problem is what are we building for here? Like, what do we think our timeline is? Because, like, from one perspective, it's like, all right, we lock down, we get back in this championship hunt, but you're not winning one this year. It's hard to envision next year being better based on the fact that you're not going to have a full Derrick Henry anymore. Eventually he's got to slow down. He's kind of already slowed down, but still has his times, still has his moments.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Lamar being fully healthy next season will help, but I don't know, Joe. It was a weird time to do it too, right after Likely comes away with that 95-yard game too last Thursday.
Yeah. I can't believe that fumble out of the end zone really affected it that much. They were like, "Nah, you can walk, kid."
Yeah, they're like, "Well, that's the end of you being here, I guess."
Yeah. Likely's the guy. Not a bad trade candidate if you're in dynasty leagues that don't have a trade deadline, which I'm a firm believer that they should not. But throw out some trades for Likely, see if you can't get him on the cheap.
Yeah, that's fair. Obviously, there's no hidden gems on the Baltimore Ravens. I feel like you're starting your guys here. Henry, Lamar, if you're desperate, because he's not fully healthy, but I can also see that maybe, you're losing Drake May this week, and I don't know. I don't know why you'd have both, but you might. I don't know. I don't want to judge anybody's team. But as far as the other receivers go on this team, like even Zay Flowers is kind of rough. Like it's rough to put him out there. But you like Keaton Mitchell. Is he somebody that you would start, or you just think that eventually they got to get him more touches?
I don't think I would start Keaton Mitchell, but he's definitely a guy that I would have rostered. If anything were to happen to Henry, Rasheen Ali is cool, but we really haven't seen any massive games from him. And Keaton Mitchell is explosive as hell. So if he gets anywhere near 10 carries a game, he can instantly be an RB2, RB3 for your team and possibly put you over the edge. So, again, he's a dynasty buy, dynasty stash. And then if you're in a deep league, deep bench, I would say I would throw him on there just in case, especially if you have Derrick Henry, because I do think he would be the guy to take over.
That's fair. On the Pittsburgh side of things, Aaron Rodgers is washed. It's not good. I mean, we kind of knew that was coming into the season, but just we are where we are. There's not really a whole lot on this team that you can trust. I mean, you're putting DK Metcalf out there, but outside of him,
I don't think you have to.
Oh, fair enough. I mean, fair enough. I just think there's probably not another flex spot. Like you're fighting like between him and like Jaden Higgins at this point, and I don't know if you wouldn't trust Jaden Higgins a little bit more, but you probably aren't sitting DK Metcalf if you have him.
No, but I'd probably play Jaden Higgins if those are my choices, to be honest with you. Because, I mean, looking at his numbers, he scored.
Wow, that's where we're at.
He had a touchdown in week 12, but he's gotten you like less than 10 points every week since week 8. So, I don't know. I don't trust Baltimore at all. It's a good matchup for him, but DK Metcalf.
Joe, he only completed 3 passes to wide receivers last week. It just is what it is. We gotta
it's
come
the tight end show, man.
There's just nobody to start on this team. Like Arthur Smith, this is an Arthur Smith wet dream. Having this many tight ends on this team to throw to all at the same time is fantastic. Yeah. And look, it's just not good. So
no
Steelers. I think you can just skip putting them on your lineup. I mean, Warren, fine, sure.
Gainwell,
if you have
flex spot, if you have to, but
yeah, that's where we're at. That's where we're at with the Steelers.
No, it's crazy, man. This team needed a rebuild ever since Ben Roethlisberger, and they just need to do it, man. Rip the Band-Aid off.
Well, I think, and weirdly enough, did you know Ben Roethlisberger had a podcast?
No.
I didn't either, but Adam Schefter quoted it today saying that Mike Tomlin should just move on from the Steelers and just go to a different team. Not that they necessarily need to fire him, but like he just maybe needs to move on because it's just not ever like he's too good of a coach to let this team suck, but he's not got enough of a roster to make this thing actually win a Super Bowl. So I think Ben Roethlisberger might be right. It might be time for Mike Tomlin just to move on from this and just let the Steelers bottom out for a couple of years and rebuild the correct way.
Yeah. Someone recommended Penn State for him.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting.
That's interesting. I think that's interesting. Don't have to move that far.
There's nothing on this team. I mean, your defense is fine. You got a sick defensive line, but outside of that, what do you got? I mean, trade TJ Watt. I would hate to see it because he belongs in Pittsburgh, but trade him, keep Highsmith and Benton. You're pretty solid there. You can build with those guys and then just ship everybody else off. I mean, you can probably get a decent return for DK even with the season he's been having here. So I don't know.
That's true. I mean, they ditched Pickens, and he's like one of the best in the league right now. I think Baltimore wins this game. I just don't think the Steelers have enough to do anything here.
No. This is just going to be an ugly game. I'm hoping for something, but I don't expect much. I'll take Lamar. I'll take Lamar in this matchup.
Okay, fair enough. All right, next game. We have what would have been a massive game a couple of years ago, but now it's just two teams fighting to get into the playoffs, and it's kind of sad. It's the Bengals versus the Buffalo Bills. I think Burrow could probably get this team back to potentially winning this division. So it's kind of weird that they're not, you would think, oh, wow, they're not going to be able to win. They're 4-8, right? They're not going to be able to win this division. Two teams ahead of them are only 6-6, and they now have a win against the Ravens. So don't really think that it's going to be impossible for them to do it, but it's not looking great. But they have to, and they need to win this one is the thing. And if Buffalo loses this one, it's just all bad, I think, on their end. But starting with the Bengals real quick, one game without Chase didn't really – no, Chase was back for this one. It was Higgins.
Yeah.
Chase looked fine in this. Joe Burrow, it was good to have him back. It wasn't a particularly great day for him passing, but it was nice to see him breaking some of the rust off and actually getting some balls in play. Who other than Chase are you kind of looking at thinking maybe I could play them this week?
I think it's fire everybody up here. I mean, Burrow obviously is a savior. I have a league with Drake May, and Burrow was on the waiver wire, so I was able to snag him a while back, put him on my IR. So that worked out really well for me. So obviously Burrow's good to go. T. Higgins, if he clears, I mean, his upside with Joe Burrow in this offense is ridiculous. We saw it last year when he was a wide receiver 1. So he absolutely needs to be back in your lineup. And then the running backs, I mean, we saw Pirine come back and immediately go back to that 60-40 split that we were seeing originally to start the season. The good thing is Chase Brown is catching footballs at a higher clip than he was earlier in the season. So I'm not starting Pirine, but be confident with Chase Brown here. And then, I mean, Gesicki, you could do worse than Gesicki. I know he didn't do anything last week, but Burrow loves him. So he's definitely a good dart throw.
It's true. I still think the process of me thinking that Mitchell Tinsley was going to do something last week was correct. However, the results did not back me up there because he did get 9 targets. He just only caught 2 of them.
He had that sick end zone target he almost came down with.
I'm telling you, Joe, he was like 1 or 2 inches away from making some fantastic plays in that game. But whatever. It is what it is. When Higgins comes back, he becomes irrelevant. But I still think you would take Tinsley over Yoshi if it was head-to-head.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that's just what it is. Yeah, and on the Buffalo side of things, trying to think of how to talk about this. Josh Allen doesn't look good, but you have him and you have to play him. But I'm starting to think next year maybe he's not one of the guys that you have to get the 3rd round pick for. Like maybe you can wait on quarterback. Like he's still going to get the rushing stats, and that's something you can't brush aside. But I don't think that there's no way if you have Josh Allen and you picked him in the 3rd round, unless you were immaculate after that and from the waiver wire, there's no way you're winning the league right now. I'm just saying. There's just no way.
No, he's got 11 rushing touchdowns with it, which is ridiculous.
It is. And I don't want to take that away from him. I'm just saying, I think you could wait.
I want to talk because I've been a QB hater my entire fantasy football career. Never drafted one early. This last year, I invested fairly heavily early with quarterbacks because I thought the value was there. Invested in Lamar a lot, invested in Burrow a lot. And we saw how this has played out so far. So I'm just telling you from my experience, next year when we're in draft season, do not reach for these guys. You're burning a 3rd round pick. And the problem is when you take that high pick, you don't get a backup until way later because you have to build your roster back up. So, I mean, it's not like you went out and you got, Josh Allen, which is fine. But if you got like Lamar and then you came back and got Dak, that didn't happen because Dak was going like the 9th round and you were still trying to get your wide receivers at that point. So I will never be drafting a quarterback that early again unless it's an insane value. I'm completely off of it, but Josh Allen is kind of the one that's doing all right.
Yeah, and again, like I said, the rushing stats, I get the whole thing. It's just like there's no way he's returning the value that you drafted him at. James Cook looked fine. I mean, he did have 144 yards, yes. Had 32 rushes, though. So, you would kind of hope that you would get to 144 if you had 32 attempts at running the ball. It just wasn't a good passing day for him all around. So I don't really know what to make of the wide receiver room other than it was just a bad game.
Yeah, I mean, Brandon Cooks does interest me. He played like 17 snaps last week, which wasn't a lot, but he's a guy that could move up in this offense. So I don't hate the idea of stashing him for the playoffs, but again, it's a deep bench situation.
Yeah. Well, this will be a fire up your guys. So if you have Shakir and he let you down last week, like this would be a good week for him to bounce back potentially in what should be a shootout. Can't believe this game's at noon, but then again, it's a 4-8 team versus an 8-4 team. So I guess they weren't going to give that prime billing.
Yeah. And then we might get Dalton Kincaid back this week too. So fire him up immediately.
Yeah, that would be a nice little addition back. Bengals win.
Bengals, baby. They got to do it.
Seems that way. All right. Into the toilet bowl we go, which is the Tennessee Titans at the Cleveland Browns. Joe, I mean, Shadur did what he could do, but he was never going to win that game last week, unfortunately. It just wasn't going to happen. against the 49ers. I respect that they just haven't figured out the quarterback position, but it just isn't going to be Shador. Like he, you can't start him out there. It just can't happen. Quinshawn, I think that's your easy starter there. And then I've liked Harold Fannin. And although Jerry Jeudy and Shador had that spat on the sideline, I do think that connection still could be something coming up here. But other than that, there's not a whole lot you can trust to start on this team.
No, not much. And the Titans have been really good against the run. So we might get one of these guys to pop through the air. It'll be interesting to see because Njoku, he's injured. He might miss this one. So if he does, I think Fannin would be a really solid start if you were in need of a tight end, if you had a Kittle or something. So I don't hate getting Fannin. Jerry Jeudy, man, scares the hell out of me. I don't. And then
I get it.
Judkins,
I get it.
Yeah, Judkins is your guy. We kind of saw Dylan Sampson go back to being nothing last week. So
yeah,
nobody else.
One pop play, and then everybody went out and scoured their waiver wire for him. Malachi Corley's on this team, Joe. Did you know that going into this past week?
I did. He's had some plays where he looks all right.
I respect that. That's your thought process with them.
Well, I mean, he had a couple. I mean, obviously you got Bond. Seems to have a decent connection with Shador. I know he hasn't put up the stat sheet. And then Jeudy and Tillman. So there's not a whole lot of room for Corley, but he's had a couple catches where he actually looks pretty good.
Yeah. On the Titans side, it was a train wreck this past week against the Jags. Tony Pollard looks fine. You can start him. I'm sure that you probably don't have a better option at this point, but he's getting enough to where it makes sense. And then Tajay, if you're desperate, you can put him in a flex spot. At least he's going to get some of the targets out of the backfield, so that's good for pass catching. And then Gunnar Helm, by hell or high water, he's going to get the targets, and he's not going to get a lot of yards. But, I mean, I think that you can trust him at least to get the amount of targets you need to make it work from the tight end spot.
He's decent in PPR. I don't imagine this offense getting anything going against the Browns defense this week, but
I don't either. It's hard to project.
I don't think I'm going to watch this game, to be honest with you.
It'll be on one of the TVs, but hopefully it's on the one that's blurry and you can barely see it. Like that's the one.
Yeah. This says 3-6 written all over it. Maybe like a 5-3 with a safety or something.
Yeah, no, I'm betting Judkins will score a touchdown, and then that'll probably be about it. It'll be like 13 to 4, like 4. It won't be 4. 13 to like 6. That seems about right.
4 would be a cool score.
It would be a cool score. It's literally almost
34.5. I don't know who the hell made that line. That doesn't even seem remotely possible to me.
That is an extremely low line, but I do think that it's a pretty good one because I don't really see how they're going to get there. But I think the Browns win this. I just don't think Titans have enough to do this.
No.
Like maybe this will be my survivor pool pick. I'll just ride with the Browns.
Go with Shador, baby.
Yeah,
I don't.
When in doubt,
man, I don't even know. I'm guessing the Browns just because of the defense.
You'd think the Titans are going to get a second win this season. It's just like I don't know where or when that's going to happen, but you guys assume they're going to get at least another one. All right, let's move on to another AFC South team, not AFC East. The Colts versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Colts have come crashing down to earth, Joe, and I kind of am curious what your thought is on, is this kind of like them being who they actually are, or did Germany take all the talent away from Jonathan Taylor? Like, what do you think is going on here?
It's interesting how everyone fell off. I mean, it starts with Daniel Jones. This fibula injury looks bad. He doesn't even remotely look comfortable playing right now. But I mean, everyone kind of fell back to earth. We saw a game out of Alec Pierce last week, which gives you some hope to be able to start him. But man, it's with Daniel Jones playing the way he is with that injury, he's getting it done, but it's just not. I mean, Houston's a tough defense, so you can't take too much into it. I do admire him for playing through it. With Jonathan Taylor, I mean, he gets a better matchup in this one against the Jags, but I don't know. I think this is a good bounce back game for them. Not too concerned about my players in this matchup, but the thing is, Daniel Jones is going to work himself into a long contract that I don't think this team is going to like in the long run. I think it's going to be the Giants part 2.
Yeah, that is, I think, what a lot of people are thinking, but nobody's probably going to want to say it out loud. But we just, can't give the money to Daniel Jones. You just can't do it. No. Sam Darnold, kind of proved that it can happen. Like, obviously, Seattle gave him that money, but I don't know. Daniel Jones just doesn't look right. And poor Michael Pittman. I don't know what more to do for him. It seems like every week that we're like, all right, Pittman's finally here. He has then like a dud the next week. And they're like, well, maybe Pittman goes back to the bench. And then he'll pop off for like 7 for 85. And it's like, well, okay, maybe he's back. I don't know.
Yeah, he's just kind of a, good wide receiver 4 to have on your team for bye weeks or injuries or something. But it's Jonathan Taylor. You can start Daniel Jones if you need to. The matchup's fine. But, I mean, even Tyler Warren at this point is not inspiring to put in your lineup at all. He's going to get you 9 to 15 points, which is great when it comes to the tight end position. But everyone, we saw that stretch there where we were like, okay, he's going to be the tight end 1 this year. I don't think it's going to happen, especially with what McBride's doing. But
yeah, I agree with that. On the Jaguars side of the ball, bad week to be a running back. Tennessee Titans held them in check quite a bit. But I think Jacoby Myers is the one you can trust the most on this team. I think it took him a minute, but I think we're finally here to where like he is startable week in and week out for the Jaguars. Is there anyone else on this team that you're looking at and thinking, man, I could probably find a spot for them to play on my roster right now?
Oh yeah, Brenton Strange, 100%. He's kind of in that tight end 1 category with status of the position here. Decent matchup. Trevor Lawrence actually has not been bad at all. Andy's getting rushing yards, which is pretty cool. He's a couple rushing touchdowns this year, which is pretty sweet. And we expect to see the bounce back from Travis Etienne. He's fine. Again, it was just a bad offensive game for them. I don't understand what we're doing with Bashal Tutin here. Is he the goal line back? I don't know kind of what to project. Watching the Jaguars is just like, who the hell has the ball in their hands at this point? Because it's someone new every time. I have a really hard time benching Brian Thomas because I still believe it's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm going to love our offseason chat with Brian Thomas Jr. because I'm not really sure what we should do because here's the thing. For as much shit as Josh talks on like Garrett Wilson, like he never had a decline like this. Like this is whole new territory. Like at least Garrett Wilson, you knew the floor was like, okay, well, he's going to catch like 5 balls and get like 60 yards. And that's a bad game for him. But like some of these BTJ games are just, wow. And they're not going to get rid of him. Like it's not going to be one of those kind of things. I don't think, unless he like works his way out somehow. But I don't know. I just don't think how you can trust him. And I don't know. We'll get there in the offseason, but I'm a little interested in what they're going to do with him.
And the fuck of it is with Brian Thomas. I mean, he's coming back from the injury, so he might have gotten eased in a little bit there. But right in week 6, he had 8 for 90 and a touchdown. And we were like, all right, cool. He's back.
Yeah.
And why it pisses me off that even happened. Because it's like, if that wouldn't have happened, bench him. But we saw it.
Right.
We saw it with Trevor Lawrence.
There's hope.
And now with Parker Washington out, Travis Hunter's out. I mean, assume Parker Washington's going to be out. So you're right, though. Jacoby Myers is the guy. I would start BTJ in this matchup.
I think you have to. It's just it is interesting thought to I don't know. Maybe you have somebody else on your roster. Who knows?
Not for the faint of heart.
Yeah. I think the Jaguars win this game, Joe. Like they're actually kind of like the worst part I feel like of the Jaguars is watching Trevor Lawrence play football because the rest of this team, I actually quite like how it's built. And I do think that it with a different quarterback could be a really good team. But
Yeah.
I mean, they're still. What am I saying? They're still a good football team. It's just I don't know. It feels like they're missing that piece of it.
Yeah, it kind of does. And I mean, it's not pretty, but they get it done each week. So it's kind of cool to see. It's cool to see Josh Hines Allen start playing some football here. He kind of took a snooze at the start of the season here, but we're seeing that ramp up. I still like the Colts. I like what the Colts are doing.
Okay.
Losing Sauce is not great. Hopefully he can come back sooner rather than later, but they did get Charvarius Ward back. So I think as long as Daniel Jones can stay in there, I think they have a shot.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. That's the first one we've disagreed with about today.
Yep.
Weirdly enough. All right. On to what actually could be an interesting football game. The Washington Commanders at the Minnesota Vikings. Let's start with the Vikings. It was brutal this past game with Brosmer. JJ McCarthy is back. That sounds like a threat, but it's not. It's the starting quarterback on the football team. I don't think you can trust a soul on this football team. I just don't think you can at this point. I love Justin Jefferson, and we're not going to be stupid and say to bench Justin Jefferson, but boy, it's hard to imagine he gets like 100 yards and a touchdown in any football game going forward this season.
Yeah, it really is. And Washington defense is playing a little bit better. The fact that we're applauding JJ McCarthy coming back for Justin Jefferson tells you all you need to know, because it is not pretty. I think you can trust Jordan Mason if Aaron Jones misses, and vice versa.
Yeah.
If Aaron Jones does play, I think it's going to be a little bit ugly, but I think you could start Aaron Jones. I mean, I've seen Addison dropped a bunch of places. I don't really know if I believe that I would drop him, but
Joey's touchdown
Hockenson,
or bust, which is just not like that's not who he is, but that's who he is on this football team right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's with him and Hockenson, I think you can drop him for your playoff push. If you need a backup or handcuff your running back, boom, there's your guy right there. But my real question is, this GM has to be fired after this year, because I understand that you went in and you had, JJ McCarthy, he was going to be your starter. But then behind him, you had Carson Wentz and Brosmer, whatever the hell his name is. No, You cannot set up your football team like that. When you saw what Sam Darnold, you saw what Kirk Cousins, you saw what Nick Mullins and Josh Dobbs did with this lineup. You can't just be like, nah, we don't need a quarterback. We're good. It's crazy. He has to be fired.
I agree completely, Joe. I don't think that this football team is very well constructed, and it just is what it is. By the way, they let go of Adam Thielen this week, and I'm like, okay, well, good for Adam Thielen. He's going to get to go play on a team that's fighting for a playoff spot. Maybe actually get out there and be helpful. And he gets picked up by the Steelers, and it's like, okay, well, you went from one dud to another. That's kind of brutal. I don't know if he, I think he was picked up on waivers, so it's not like he got a choice, but still, it's just like, okay, well, that sucks for him, because they're not going anywhere either. So that's it.
I think Aaron Rodgers was just like, give me anybody with the pulse. Yeah. I don't care if he's 45. Get Jerry Rice out of retirement. We'll come back.
It does feel that way. On the Commander side of things, Jaden Daniels is limited participant in practice today. I do think there's a good chance that he comes back and plays in this game. They do need him because, well, that's the other thing. Do they need him? Because this team's not really going anywhere. So I don't really know if it's a need. I mean, they're 3-9. They're definitely not going to make the playoffs at this point. This has to be one of the weirdest, like, from NFC Championship last year all the way to not making the playoffs, looking like they're going to have to make some tough choices in this offseason. Other than potentially Jaden Daniels, and we got Zach Ertz, we got Terry McLaurin, and Debo. That's kind of what I think you should do and play going forward. Is there any of these running backs that you trust? Is there anyone else that I'm not thinking of?
It seems like Chris Rodriguez is taking the job. That easily could flip back to anybody else at any point. But he has looked pretty good. So Problem is he doesn't really catch the ball. He's kind of like a Jordan Mason-esque player. You could do worse than starting him. Mariota, man, he's been getting it done for fantasy football purposes. And that game last week, I think we need to give him some credit because they had no business hanging with Denver as long as they did. And Marcus Mariota, I was sad to see Nick Bonito knock that ball right back in his face because I thought Mariota played a hell of a game on that.
Yeah.
Now, I just wanted to bring up a fun stat that I found. Terry McLaurin played 51% of the snaps last week, obviously coming back from injury. 14 targets. 14 targets on 51 snaps. That's absolutely insane. Terry McLaurin, I've heard a lot of questions about Terry McLaurin this week. He needs to be in your lineup immediately.
I agree with that completely. Like, he's at least going to – well, again, with Jaden Daniels coming back, we'll see what happens. But I just think, yeah, you can't not have him in your starting lineup. There shouldn't be a question there. There is, but there shouldn't be.
Yeah. Start him. I think Washington wins.
I think Washington wins too. This is another contender for my whatever league that
Survivor
I'm thinking
pool.
of. Survivor pool,
man. Yeah.
All I can think of was sleeper pool, and I'm like, that's not a thing. Would be
Sleeper
a fun
picks.
thing though. Pick the sleepers for each game. All right. Further into the afternoon window, we got the Miami Dolphins at the New York Jets. Jets look kind of frisky, Joe.
They do look kind of frisky, man.
Kind of frisky. I hate to say it. I liked what they were doing last week against the Falcons. Falcons, no slouches against the pass. And Tyrod Taylor didn't. I'm not going to go out there and say he had an incredible passing day, but it wasn't bad, and he got his points. But we need to talk about it. Is the A.D. Mitchell thing real? Garrett Wilson looks like he might be coming back, not this week, but maybe next week. So we got one more week potentially with A.D. Mitchell being the guy. Do you believe in it? Yes or no?
Good question. They're clearly trying to get A.D. Mitchell involved in this offense. I mean, he's had a bunch of targets, 25 the last 3 weeks coming out. Had the breakout game last week. He should have had a big game with that last Justin Fields game, too, with the catches that he dropped. So I do like Adonai Mitchell. We liked him coming out. I like him in this offense. The problem is, I don't like it could be John Mechie next week. You know, it's just whatever the matchup is. Tyrod Taylor's not going to throw it enough to get two guys involved in this offense. So it's kind of flipping a straw. I don't mind riding the hot hand with A.D. Mitchell right now, but I don't think it's, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes out and puts up 5 points next week.
Yeah, it does kind of seem like it's A.D. Mitchell, just based on recent evidence, and Breece Hall, and that's kind of the two guys. I still believe in my heart of hearts in Mason Taylor, but it seems like he's touchdown or bust, and he's not got a lot of touchdowns, so that should tell you where he's at in that pecking order.
Yeah. Just not a high volume offense, man. It's
definitely not. And speaking of another semi not high volume offense, it's the Dolphins. They played a tragedy of a game against the Saints this last week. That was rough to watch. The Dolphins I don't even know what they're doing out there half the time, but whatever. Devon A-Chain is obviously the guy that you want to use week in and week out. I still believe in Waddle and Waller. I think last week was just a down week. The Saints put up like a crazy good effort on defense in that football game, and I think those two guys are still two that you can bet on.
Yeah. No, you're right. We were talking a couple weeks ago about how Jalen Waddle was like a top 10 guy for the rest of the season. So it hasn't looked like the last 2 weeks that he's played. I expect him to get back on the train of that. And then Darren Waller, man, he gets it done. Tua likes him. You can absolutely do worse than Darren Waller.
Yeah, definitely feels that way. Yeah, this one it's going to be a fun game, but I don't necessarily think fantasy-wise it's going to be a barn burner of a game. The over-under being 41.5 kind of shows a little bit of that. Not really going to be trading blows, I don't think. I do think Miami wins this one, though.
Yeah, I'm with you on Miami. They got something cooking down there.
All right, last game in the noon slate. It is the New Orleans Saints versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The last time these two played, this game was disgusting. It was not a fun watch. But maybe this week we have a little bit more fireworks. Start on the Buccaneers side of things. Godwin's already limited again. I don't know what to make of that. It might be old man things happening where it's like I just got to be old for a couple of days and then we'll get bounced back. But man, he looked decent at times this past week. The Bucs as a whole looked decent at times, but I just wish we could get back what the Buccaneers were at the beginning of the season. I don't know if it's a Baker injury situation or what, but man, they make everything look really hard on this football team.
Really difficult.
Other than Bucky and Godwin and Ibuka, is there anyone else out there that you're thinking about starting this week?
I'm thinking about benching Ibuka, man.
Okay.
At what point do we? I mean, this is kind of like the Brian Thomas thing. It's like I don't think I've ever seen a fall off like him and Roma Dunze. The fall off that they have had.
Yeah, that's true. Both of them.
This second half of the season has just been unreal, absolutely unreal. But Godwin, I mean, he caught a couple deep passes and got some yards after the catch. He looks pretty good, and we got Mike Evans possibly returning now. Probably not this week, but looking good for the playoffs if you got him. Yeah. And then Jalen McMillan possibly making a return too. So talk about getting some reinforcements at the right time. This team's kind of doing it. My question to you, so Bucky came back. We didn't see the receiving work as much as we're used to seeing, but he did score. He's got to be, a top 10 guy the rest of the season?
Yeah,
with how running backs been shaking out?
I was one of the fools that believed that it was going to, because they said going into the game that Bucky's going to be on a limited amount of snaps and he's not going to get as much work and yada, yada, yada. I fell for it, and I still started Sean Tucker in a couple places just thinking that, they're not going to put him in for goal line work because, obviously with the shoulder, they're not going to want him to go head first in. Boy, was I an idiot because, no, they did not really limit Bucky that much at all. He got almost every rush was Bucky rush. So, yeah, he's a top 10 option the rest of the season. And honestly, I think last week was kind of just a get back into the mix game. Whereas, this week, I think is more, where we're going to see Bucky fully unleashed and back to closer to 100%. So, yeah, I think Rachaad White to the bench and Tucker, it was fun while it lasted, but you're back to waivers, pal. It's over.
Yeah. It's kind of great. And then Chris Godwin got a questionable tag this week too. So, I mean, I guess they're just taking it easy with these guys. I'm not going to read too much into it, but no, I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on Ibuka because I have him in a league and I am just trying not to touch it with a 10-foot pole here.
It's kind of tough. I have him in a couple spots and I'm still having to start him just based on injuries because I've got Garrett Wilson mostly in those leagues too. And obviously he's not back. So I kind of I'm forced into it. But I don't know what we're going to do this offseason. The conversation is going to be interesting because do we believe that the first half of the season was right? And then when maybe they have Mike Evans back, because that's when he truly was shining, was when it was him across from Mike Evans. Mike Evans was drawing some coverage away. Now when it's just him out there on an island, because Chris Godwin does not get the coverage taken away from Ibuka, whereas Mike Evans would get the coverage taken away. So maybe that's what he needs to succeed. And then what does that mean for his value? Because then it's not going to be good if he's not out there. It's kind of what was it, Jacoby Myers and Zay Jones at one time where it was if one wasn't playing, the other one wasn't going to be good, that kind of thing. I don't know. So I don't know. Ibuka's just kind of, you got to play him, but you're not happy about it right now.
Yeah, he's a top 30 guy for me, and he's barely top 30. It's he's top 29 and 3/4.
I agree. My last Buccaneers thing was this is a perfect spot for Isaiah Likely to come. Give Baker Likely because Cade Otton, look, he is a good run blocking tight end. I would not say that he's a helpful receiving option. Whereas if you got Likely out there on those can you imagine Mike Evans? I know he's old, but Mike Evans, Isaiah Likely, Edbuka, Chris Godwin, like all out on the same field at the same time, like Baker would have a field day every week, it feels like. Plus with the bench they have, it's like it'd be really good.
We're getting 40-yard touchdowns all day.
Yeah, for sure. We'll briefly talk about the Saints. Shuck actually looked pretty solid, I thought, at times in this one, but like I'm kind of having Rattler vibes where it's like there's a couple of Rattler games where he looked really good, but they don't actually win the football game. So it's like, what does that even mean for them? Devon Vele came out swinging. I don't know where this Devon Vele has been, but is it a guy that you've probably picked up? Are you thinking about actually starting him, though, if you were one that got him off waivers?
It's a good question. I mean, we're seeing Olave dealing with the back issues. So I still think Olave is absolutely the guy, and Juwan Johnson. So he's definitely third on this pecking order. But we saw a guy that wasn't really targeted that much to start the game last week. And then all of a sudden they were just like, holy shit, let's throw it to Vele. So it might have been a matchup thing. But if you have to, I don't hate it. Like if you're in a 14-team league, 12-team league, you got the buys this week, you could do worse than Devon Vele.
That's
the
true.
Bucs damn sure aren't stopping anyone.
Well, and that's what I was bringing up. Devin Neal is a awesome possum player of the week. Like he should be in every DK lineup going into this one. Kamara, I think, has a slight chance to come back. I think, but like I don't know why even. I liked Neal last week, so I thought that was I thought he had a solid day. Why even bother bringing him back if you don't need to? So I think Neal's a good play. If Kamara isn't playing.
I'm a little bit worried about his value next year, depending on what happens with Kamara, because I think he's going to be a guy that a lot of people are going to bite on, and I don't think he's the guy that's going to take the RB1 job here. But
yeah,
we'll talk about that in the offseason.
For sure. Bucs win.
Yeah. Get right game for him.
For sure. All right, let's go to the AFC West and talk about the Broncos and the Raiders. Let's make the Raiders quick. It's Bowers touchdown dependent, Genty touchdown dependent, and the rest of this is just a disaster. It's just a disaster of a football team. Tom Brady might not be good at building teams. He might be suffering from Michael Jordan syndrome, where great player, maybe not the best at putting a team together. Not that it's all his decision, but you assume that he's probably got a little pull here and there. And then Pete Carroll, there may be just time to head on out. This might just, why come back and do this to yourself? Do you want to stress out about not being able to beat the Chargers, the Raiders, or the Broncos? Like, what a division to be in right now, because you're not beating any of those teams for the foreseeable future. So why would you even want to do this every day?
Yeah, this is the team that needs to be torn down completely. I mean, I think Max Crosby needs to go. Get what you can for him. You could even trade Bowers at this point. I mean,
I don't know.
The tight end's not going to. You could. I don't think a tight end's going to.
I do think you get rid of Crosby. I do like that idea.
Yeah. Get Crosby out of there. You can keep Bowers. You can keep Genty. But, I mean, man, this whole team, see if you can get 15 picks for Max Crosby and make that deal.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Yeah, that's the Raiders coverage pretty much for the year. I don't think we're going to be talking about them in the offseason a whole lot either. On to the Broncos. Great Evan Ingram game if you played him. I think that was kind of the problem is you probably have Evan Ingram, but you weren't trusting him, so you didn't maybe play him. But this week, I think you can play him. I think he's a solid player to put out there. Sutton did good things, but this is kind of just spray and pray. Like they're going to be 18 people touching the ball in the game, and you just got to hope the guy that you have in is the one that's actually scoring the touchdowns. Because it doesn't even seem like there's any rhyme or reason for how we're distributing the ball, Joe. It just seems like everybody's going to get 3 or 4 targets, and that's just the way it's going to be.
Yeah, that seems to be how they want it. I mean, I don't know personally why this coming out party for Pat Bryant happened last week, because he's fine. I mean, we really liked him coming out. We talked about Pat Bryant a lot as a good option, but I don't trust it moving forward. I think a lot of people picked him up,
Nope.
and I think you're just going to be like, well, why did Troy Franklin get 15 targets this week? Because that's just how the Broncos play. I don't know.
Pretty much. Why is Tyler Beatty getting targets? Like, what is this doing for me? Adam Troutman, who the hell is that? I thought Evan Ingram was the tight end on this team. There's just a lot of questions that I just don't think you're going to get answered this year. There's just too many mouths on the feed. And then, like, why is Marvin Mims even here? Like, he's one of the better receivers on the team, but they just don't even want to. Yeah, they don't even want to use him. Other than gadget plays and punt returns, like it's so strange. I don't know what to make of it. But the Broncos are good at the defense, so it doesn't really matter what they do on offense if you're good on defense.
It's true. I mean, they make the game seem very difficult when it really doesn't have to be. I mean, their offense is pretty loaded. I don't understand why they're overthinking it as much as Sean Payton is, but
yeah, just is what it is.
Fun. Yeah.
Broncos win pretty easily. Raiders just need to pack it in. They need to try to get that number 1 overall pick, but I don't know how they're going to get Titans to get a win.
I think the Raiders win this game.
Really?
I'm calling it.
Okay, Joe, you got to put some money.
I think this is the trap game of all trap games.
Okay. I love that.
Broncos on Monday night almost got beat by the Commanders, which are not great. Not a great team.
That's true.
Not a great team. Almost got
Mariota legacy game though.
Yeah, it was, but I don't know. I can see the Raiders putting up a fight here.
That's true. I guess we'll see. Okay. I hope you put some money on that. Now that we can gamble in Missouri. All right. Let's go to the NFC West. We got the Los Angeles Rams at the Arizona Cardinals. I don't even we'll start with the Cardinals because I don't know what to do about this wide receiver core. Because if you were just going to bring back Marvin Harrison Jr. and you were just going to throw him the ball more than you were Michael Wilson, why are you not throwing it as many times as you threw it to Michael Wilson? It just doesn't really make any sense. And then why did we completely not throw it? Like, I think it should just be thrown to the 3 guys equally. You throw the ball 40 times a game. Each player needs to be having 12 targets to their name. And then you can do the running back a couple of times. Like McBride, Wilson, and Harrison. And you just need to spread it out evenly somehow. I don't know how we got to figure it out, but we got to figure it out. But that's not what happened, Joe. And now I don't know what to do.
I understand how you spend a top 5 pick on Marvin Harrison Jr., who everybody knows. Everyone likes to criticize this dude. He's an awesome wide receiver. And the 2 games that he missed with the appendectomy, Wilson got 15 and 18 and 15 targets?
18 and 15.
18 and 15 targets. Harrison has never gotten more than 12 targets in his career in Arizona. I don't understand what the hell this is about. It makes no sense to me.
It really doesn't. And I mean, Jacoby didn't throw it any less. I don't know how this Jacoby Brissett is doing this, because when he was with the Patriots that year, he could barely complete a pass. Like, he was with the Patriots and could barely complete a pass. He was at the Colts and could barely complete a pass. But now he's with this Arizona team, and he is just firing this thing like a cannon every time. And it just doesn't make any sense. I just don't know what to do with this football team. Obviously, McBride is a good starter. Bam Knight, if Benson's not back yet, would be a play. And then Harrison and Wilson, you got to play them, but damn, they kind of cannibalize each other's upside, it feels like, which is just bizarre, because why do it that way? It doesn't make any sense.
It was crazy because Wilson did nothing all season until Harrison got hurt, and now they're cannibalizing each other. I don't understand this team. It's Trey McBride. I would love to see Benson come back. We haven't had a whole lot of news come out on him, but Benson in this offense would be awesome. You're right. If he does miss, I think Bam Knight's a serviceable flex option for you. It's not going to be a whole lot, but especially against the Rams. But
for sure. Speaking of the Rams, weird times in LA. They definitely fell into a bear trap against the Panthers. Matt Stafford that was the worst game he's played this season by far, which was weird. But I think you could start both Corum and Kyron, I think it's hard because like
Sketchy.
it feels like it's definitely Kyron's backfield, but they're going to do whatever it takes to get Corum to run the ball. So you might as well maybe throw him in a flex spot if you have him. Puka, another solid game. It'd be nice if he could score a touchdown, but we just are where we are. And then Devontae's hamstring injury is definitely going to hurt some things if he's out. Do you think he's going to be out, or do you think he's going to get out there and play?
I assume he's going to play because that's kind of what Devontae does. He seems to play through things, but I've never seen a goal line vulture wide receiver. This is totally new to me. I don't think I've ever seen this in the league. I mean, we used to have like Ryan Matthews and Michael Tolbert. Ryan Matthews would run all over the field, and then Michael Tolbert would score the touchdown. This is what Puka does. He up and down the field, catches everything, and they get to the red zone. It is just Devontae in the red zone. It's awesome. It's what we wanted out of Devontae Adams this year. But it's just kind of crazy for Puka's value because it's, kind of confusing to me.
Definitely is. I would say if Devontae is out, we're just going to preface this by saying we don't know if he is or not. I think it's going to be Whittington and Xavier Smith probably, Joe. Is that who you're kind of projecting? Probably split that workload?
Probably. It seems like Xavier Smith's taken over Whittington. And honestly, we kind of saw who was the guy the little guy for the Rams that had a couple big games.
Tutu Atwell?
Yeah, Tutu. Losing my mind here. Xavier Smith kind of looked pretty good in that role last week. I wouldn't hate seeing him try it out more. So he's definitely a guy I would add and kind of see what happens there because big play guys with Matthew Stafford, especially if Devontae is going to miss this one, could have a lot of value.
Yeah. Tutu should be back. I don't know if he's getting back this week or next week, but he should be back soon too, just to add a little something else into this mix.
Why not?
Rams win, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Cardinals bit them.
Yeah. It would be kind of funny to see, but I think the Rams get back on track. They are too good of a team to do stupid shit twice.
For sure. All right. On to Chicago versus the Packers. This actually should be a good football game. The number one in the NFC, Packers, Joe.
Bears. Not Packers.
No, not Packers. Bears. My bad. I had that all planned out, and it still got away from me. This offense is just wacky. I don't know how else to describe it. Swift and Monagai just completely annihilated Josh's Eagles last week. That O-line where Josh was talking all sorts of shit about how they built that O-line just completely mauled his defensive line to the tune of both of them getting over 125 yards apiece, which was nice to see. So I think both of those guys are obvious starts here. It's more about the pass catchers that I have no clue. I mean, it feels like it's probably a DJ Moore week just because it's not been a DJ Moore week last week. Like it seems like it's every other, maybe it's like duck goose a little bit with him. So maybe that means that's what this is. Rome Odunze might as well have fallen off a cliff. I don't know if he hurt Caleb's feelings in the locker room, but maybe they should kiss and make up because this is just not the Rome Odunze that we thought we were getting when we drafted him. And then it's been nice to see Luther Burden get his targets. I mean, maybe he just likes rookies because him and Colson Loveland led the team in targets this past week, and maybe that's just where we are. Well, and Rome, but Rome didn't do anything.
Yeah, and he did miss Rome on a wide open touchdown. So Rome could have had a much bigger day.
Caleb has a little bit of Trevor Lawrence in him, if we're being completely honest.
Yeah, definitely has a little bit of Trevor Lawrence in him. This team reminds me of the 2018 Bears, man, with Trubisky. I mean, quarterback play was fine, but the defense was making plays, and the running backs with Howard and Monty pretty solid. So I don't know. It's kind of fun to watch. The Monagai and Swift thing, man, I do not feel comfortable going into any matchup with those two guys in my starting lineup. I have to in a couple leagues with some of the buys and the injuries, but man, it is sketchy to try to think that one of those guys, or that they're both going to repeat what they've been doing. Monaguy's been getting it done with the touchdowns. Swift had the down week last week. I guess points in Monaguy's favor, but Swift is clearly 50-50. It's annoying. And then I don't know about DJ Moore. There's just no rhyme or reason to any of this. I mean, Colston Loveland is finally coming on more. So that's pretty cool to see, especially after all the Tyler Warren hate that he got at the beginning of the year. He's kind of putting up very similar stats at this point, if not a little bit more. I don't know, man. I don't really. The good news is the Packers' defensive line for the Bears side is very injured right now. So it could actually be a good game for some of these guys. I'm not as worried about the matchup.
That's fair. That's fair. I kind of like Ben Johnson's strategy of just like watch last week's film because we are not doing any of that this week. And then he's just going week in and week out where he's just giving him a whole new film package of like, all right, well, I guess we'll see what they did this week. And it was just something completely different than they've done the entire season.
Not a bad They're going to run the ball like 10 times this week.
Exactly.
Everyone's going to have Swift and Monaguy and no running.
Yep, it's going to be Caleb for 400 yards through the air, and it's going to be like, what? Okay, that didn't make any sense. But I don't know. That's his strategy. Kind of like it.
Yeah, don't hate it.
Yeah. On the Packers side of things, they looked fine against the Lions. I thought Josh Jacobs looked pretty well. Dontavian Wicks had a game of his life. I know nobody started him. But I don't think you can trust that going forward. I do think Christian Watson, you can trust him going forward. And then Romeo Doubs, I think you can put him in a flex spot at least and feel pretty good about it. But other than that, that's probably about it.
Yeah. I don't know about Doubs. He's been okay. And I think you treat Christian Watson as like a wide receiver 3 at this point. Jayden Reed might return this week. We haven't
That's true. I was hoping we'd have more information by now, honestly.
That would really put a damper on things because we know these tight ends are not catching any passes. The other interesting thing is Marshawn Lloyd practicing this week too. So I don't expect that to be anything, but, you know, if you were stashing Emmanuel Wilson, who knows who the handcuff would be if Josh Jacobs gets hurt. I imagine it would be Wilson or Brooks, but Lloyd could get in there. Not a bad stash in a 16-teamer.
We do like Lloyd. I mean, we could talk about it now since Josh isn't here, but we do like Lloyd, so that would be nice if he could get it.
We do.
If his number was called upon. But yeah, let's be honest. This game's kind of a start your studs kind of game.
Yeah.
Not that there's a ton.
How about
of
Jordan Love with 4 touchdowns?
I know. Like, where did that come from? Although the Lions just stink. Like, I don't know what else they can do. They just stink on defense.
They need Kirby Joseph. They need Branch. They need all those guys back because it is not.
They really, honestly do. It's been pretty rough. But Joe, I'm riding the Lightning. Your Bears win.
Fuck the Packers.
I've been on the Bears this whole season, and I'm just going to continue down the path with them. All right, Sunday Night Football should be quite a banger of a defensive matchup. I don't know how much offense we're going to be getting in this one, but it's the Houston Texans versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's start with Houston. I think it's a little bit easier. CJ Stroud came back and looked pretty solid. It's probably about what Davis Mills would have done. I'm glad they won that because, man, my Davis Mills is better than CJ Stroud take was about to be on fire this week. But they won. He didn't throw any touchdowns, which is unfortunate. Nick Chubb and a Nico Collins rushing touchdown were most of the offense there. But I think it's the Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins stack. I think that's what you're going with here. And then Woody Marks, if you need a running back, but with bye weeks and injuries, I'm sure you're having to play him at this point. But those are kind of just the guys.
Yeah, definitely the guys. I love what I'm seeing out of Higgins.
And Dalton Schultz, my bad. I forgot to mention.
Yeah, Dalton Schultz came back. And, you know, I was worried with Stroud back because he didn't really throw it to Schultz that much. But it looked pretty good. And then, Woody Marks went out last week, been limited or, you know, missed practice this week. So it could be the Nick Chubb show. Or the Dare Ogunbowale show, if you're a DraftKings person. Not
No
that
more
the
Pierce.
Chiefs are going to give up anything, but
Pierce revenge game?
ooh. Okay, I'm going to
Just
sprinkle
kidding.
some of that in DraftKings. He's going to get a 1-yard touchdown and be min-priced, and hell yeah.
Probably so. On the Chiefs side, Joe, who are you thinking about this week?
Rice and Kelsey. And, I mean, dude, honestly, Kareem Hunt's rolling right now. Pacheco came back. He'll probably eat into the workload a little bit more this week. And the Texans are not an easy team to run on. But, I mean, Kareem Hunt's rolling. He's the RB1 on this team, and I think deserves to be in a flex moving forward until we see otherwise. I think Mahomes can light this defense up. I'm not too worried about it.
You know, I keep thinking that, and then it's Josh Allen putting up a dud. It's, you know, the best offense the Colts have put out there in a long time, putting up a dud. So until I see somebody do it against this Texans defense, I don't know if I can trust it. But again, Mahomes is Mahomes, so I guess we'll see what happens there.
We shall see.
I think the Texans win the game, though.
No, I got the Chiefs. I'd like to see the Texans, but
that is fair. All right, one game left. It is the Monday Night Football game of Josh's Eagles versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Since Josh isn't here, we can talk about his Eagles. They are such a frustrating watch because it seems like the more stats they put up, the worse of a football game gets played. Like A.J. Brown has an all-time, like all-season game against your Bears. Didn't matter at all. Did not matter a lick because the rest of the team just couldn't hold. So I think they should go back to the not getting any, pissing everybody off and not getting any yards because that's just what they got to do here. So I think that's what they have to do to win games.
And it's crazy because like the Bears are not good at stopping the run, and Saquon still could not do anything against them. Yeah. So Chargers, much better team at stopping the run. Little worried about that. Got Saquon a lot of places this year. It's funny watching this team play because it's like everything you would expect to see happen doesn't happen. And, Devonta Smith at this point, he'll get you 10 points, but that's kind of it. I do like him in this matchup. I think he could put up some points. But I don't know. This whole team is just sketchy to me.
It is. I mean, let's be honest. You're starting Hurts, you're starting Barkley, you're starting Brown and Smith and Goddard. And that's the same five it's been this whole season. So,
yeah. I think Josh is right. I think Goddard's on the bench.
Okay. I mean, fair enough.
Start him.
As somebody who's been going through a whole lot of shit with their tight ends, like I can't complain when a tight end can maybe get a touchdown like Goddard can. So I don't know. That's just me, but I can see it. If you have a better option, you can go with them.
Yeah, Chargers have been decent against tight ends. Actually been pretty good. Brock Bowers did get 2 touchdowns on him, but
yeah, well, but there was only 4 catches, so it wasn't like he was lighting them up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Chargers might not have Justin Herbert, Joe. How should you approach your Chargers? I mean, we don't know. He had a surgery on his hand. They said that he could maybe play this week, but where do you land with the Chargers this week with Justin Herbert?
I mean, I feel like he's got to play, right? I mean, if there's any chance, he's got to be out there because they're fighting for a chance to be in the playoffs. So,
yeah, Trey Lance looked terrible. Not that he did a whole lot, but it just the offense screeched to a halt when he was out there for the 4 or 5 plays that he was out. Kamani Vidal put up a banger of a game. It mostly all came on 1 touchdown run, which, I mean, that's all you need. I mean, Jonathan Taylor and Barkley were eating off of that, so can't knock it. But it did mostly come from 1 big run in the game. So kind of like to see that. The wide receivers as a whole had a bad game, but I think that was kind of linked to the Herbert situation. I do think there's going to be a bounce back this week, though, with these guys.
Yeah, I really like Gadsden this week. I think he's going to get back on track if Herbert plays. And then if we can please get Hampton back, I'm a little worried about what's going to happen because Kamani Vidal has been really good. So I think everyone expecting Hampton to be your knight in shining armor of your season when he does come back. I think Kamani Vidal has earned at least 40% of the carries in this offense. So do with that what you will. But I want to see Marion back, especially after what the Bears just did to this defense.
Yeah, here we thought Najee Harris was going to be the one holding Hampton back, and it's going to be Kamani Vidal out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah. So this should be a good game, though. Just throw your guys out there. My concern is that Justin Herbert gets scratched on Sunday, and you're kind of like, oh, well, damn. I already had him starting, and now I'm going to be trusting Trey Lance with my season on the line. But you know what? That's just the way the chips fall sometimes, Joe. What can you do about it?
Yeah, I don't know. I would say in that situation, start whoever you have that has a pulse at this point.
Well, Joe, the problem is they play on Monday, so you might have already lost the capability of playing your backup if they.
No, I would play the backup. I mean, the Eagles.
Oh, you're saying just go into
the Eagles aren't a great matchup anyway.
That is true. Okay, I see what you're saying now. That's on me. I misunderstood.
Start Trevor Lawrence. Start that. I mean, start whoever else you got. Yeah, probably get Trevor Lawrence off the waiver wire.
Probably so. Maybe even a 2 a week with the Jets, but I don't know. Just is what it is. Eagles win. I'm going with this is who I'm picking for my survivor pool pick is the Eagles. I just can't see them possibly losing another game.
I think they got hit in the mouth last week, and they're going to be pissed off this week.
Yeah, I think this is a week that they take it out on poor hurt Justin Herbert. So I think that's just the way it is.
God, Trey Lance might not make it through the game.
Yeah, that would be brutal if Trey Lance was out there. All right. That's week 14. This is the last week that we are doing game previews. We are going to start shifting to more dynasty/rookie talk. Joe, are you excited?
So excited. This is the time of the season I live for.
Yeah. So we're not going to do playoff game previews. There's only about 4 to 6 teams in each league that makes it to the playoffs. Kind of cuts off the listener base by half because who wants to listen to game previews when you are eliminated and you don't have anything going for you anymore. So we're going to switch and flip topics, and I think we're going to do a rookie mock draft next week. We got a lot of buzz on that last year when we did it in December. So let's do a way too early rookie mock draft next week, Joe.
Awesome. I'm excited.
And then hopefully Josh will be back. He was too busy vandalizing the Eagles' offensive coordinator's house. I don't know if you saw that story or not.
Yeah, I did see that.
I'm just kidding. That's not why Josh isn't here. He hasn't been arrested, but he is suspiciously not here, and that did happen. So make of that what you will. I'm sure he won't make it this far in the podcast to hear it anyway, but, check for the mugshot. That's all I'm saying.
I think it was Josh. I like that.
I think it was too. All right, Joe, get us out of here.
All right. Good night, everyone.